This is Mac OS Ken.
Goldman Sachs lists top 5 risks for Apple. TrendForce thinks iPhone could win the planet. And you can save $1 on MLS on Apple TV.
Good morning.
It is Tuesday, the 5th of September, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Seeing possible problems with someone or something doesn't mean you don't like that someone or something. With that in mind, we turn to a piece from Business Insider, which has Goldman Sachs analyst Michael Eng laying out the top 5 risks faced by Apple headed into next week's Wonderlust event. Let us have a look, shall we? Number 1. Weakening consumer demand. It's not that people don't still like iPhone. The concern is that any weakness in the macroeconomic environment could reduce demand for Apple products and services. Where Apple makes over half of its money from iPhone, you kind of want people to be able to buy them. According to Eng, lengthening replacement cycles due to macroeconomic headwinds, improved product durability, or lackluster product innovation could all negatively impact upgrade demand. Next, supply chain disruption. COVID's not the issue this year. This year, the issue is increased geopolitical tension between China and the U.S. that may result in disruptions to global trade, including through tariffs. While Apple has been and continues to diversify its supply chain, China could still put a kink in it. Number 3, intensifying competition. Honestly, this one just feels like somebody who wanted to make a list of 5 things and was one short. Apple is not the market leader in every single business line. For instance, says Eng, in video streaming, it faces several key competitors that invest more heavily than Apple in content. Okay, but is that really a risk to Apple's business? Really? Number 4, regulatory risks. Yeah, this one feels more real. Quoting Eng's note, Apple is subject to intense regulatory scrutiny in all the major markets that it operates in. Regulatory intervention could result in weakening Apple's competitive advantages if it is forced to make its proprietary products or services available for competitors to use. And number 5, capital allocation. Quoting Eng, Apple has a history of mergers and acquisitions. That's what it says. Apple has a history of mergers and acquisitions, which has no guarantee of success. Apple also has a history of share repurchases, which could prove to be dilutive or come under deeper regulatory scrutiny. Now, all of those, or almost all of those, are areas of risk. As I said before, though, seeing possible problems with someone or something doesn't mean you don't like that someone or something. Eng was assessing risk. There's still a lot to love. Quoting that part of his note, we believe that the market's focus on slower product revenue growth masks the strength of the Apple ecosystem and associated revenue durability and visibility. Apple's installed base growth, secular growth in services, and new product innovation should more than offset cyclical headwinds to product revenue. Mr. Eng has a buy rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $222. What do TrendForce and Counterpoint Research have in common? They both think Apple could be the world's top smartphone maker in the wake of iPhone 15. A couple of weeks back, Counterpoint issued a note saying, in part, 2023 could mark the start of a new era for Apple, as a resilient premium market and strong showing in the U.S. could help it become number 1 globally in terms of annual shipments for the first time ever. Could, not will. Jeff Fieldhack, Counterpoint Research, research director for North America, did a bit of hemming and hawing on the issue. Quoting Field Hack, "We're talking about a spread that is literally a few days' worth of sales. Assuming Apple doesn't run into production problems like it did last year, it really is a toss-up at this point." Now 9 to 5 Mac has TrendForce seeing a similarly tight race. According to the report, last quarter was not a great quarter for Samsung. Q2 for Sammy was down quarter-on-quarter and year-on-year. According to TrendForce, amid global economic headwinds and fierce competition, coupled with a waning halo effect from its flagship phone releases earlier in the year, Samsung's Q2 performance lagged behind the same period last year. The company is expected to intro new foldables this quarter. They're not expected to make a dent, though, leaving me to wonder why anyone wonders where Apple's foldable iPhone is, but I digress. As for Apple's possible ascension, TrendForce says Apple and Samsung are neck and neck in their annual production projections. Should the iPhone 15 series outperform market expectations, Apple stands a good chance of ousting Samsung from its long-held position as the global market leader. Apple's emergency SOS via satellite is getting more satellite support. Mac Rumors says Globalstar, the company that runs the satellites that power the system, has inked a deal with SpaceX to put more satellites in orbit. How much to bum a ride? $64 million, according to a recent SEC filing. For consumers, emergency SOS via satellite is free. One does wonder how long that'll be the case, though. When Apple announced the service last year, it said it would be free for the first 2 years. While Apple hasn't said whether consumers will eventually have to pay, Mac Rumors sees a charge for consumers as practically inevitable. The way the piece puts it, the $64 million that Globalstar is paying SpaceX is likely just a fraction of the cost of running the satellites, and that cost is being passed along to Apple, so it stands to reason that Apple will eventually be charging at least a small fee for those who want to use the SOS option. Emergency SOS via satellite is currently available in Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Portugal, the UK, and the US. Please, try not to need it. Apple's done a deal with the US Patent and Trademark Office, though we don't yet know what the deal is. We do know what it's about. Apple's 5 to 8-year-old attempt to trademark the term smart keyboard. According to a piece from Apple Insider, Apple introduced the iPad accessory Smart Keyboard in 2015. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office denied Apple's application to trademark the term in 2018, saying that the term was generic and therefore ineligible for trademark. In 2021, the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board denied Apple's appeal. Then, or soon after, Apple sued the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Now, Apple Insider says the two parties have reached a settlement, though to what end, we do not know. Lawyers have sent word to a Virginia federal court. According to the piece, the filing does not disclose the terms of the settlement, and it is not known whether Apple can now trademark the term. All the filing says is that the lawyers are asking for a short extension to allow them time to finalize their agreement and file a stipulation with the court. You know how Apple may have to open iPhone to sideloading in the EU in the months ahead? Yeah, Apple wants you to remember all the good times you've had with all the apps it makes. 9 to 5 Mac says the Cupertino company has added a page to its site called Apps by Apple, broken into categories including communication, creativity, productivity, exploration, entertainment and home, and health and fitness. The piece says the new page is designed to promote its own apps for iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Mac, and Apple TV, highlighting key apps like Messages, Photos, Reminders, and more, including teasers on upcoming new features, in iOS 17. A German Apple store is back in business. Apple Insider says the Großbockenheimer Straße location in Frankfurt has opened after a short period. It was closed for renovations. Foxconn and its founder have finally officially, seriously, totally severed ties this time. The founder, Terry Gou, is trying to make a run for president of Taiwan. I told you last week of his assertion that, thanks to his ties with Foxconn and his dealings with such companies as Apple, Nvidia, Tesla, and others, China would not mess with him if he were to become president of Taiwan. I also told you of Foxconn's almost immediate response saying, "Yeah, we don't really know that guy anymore." Paraphrasing. Quoting part of what the company actually said, as the founder, Gou already handed over the baton 4 years ago and no longer participates in the daily management of the company. He still had a position with it, though that is now done as well. A report from Agence France Presse says Foxconn founder Terry Gou has resigned as a director for personal reasons, officially cutting ties as the billionaire focuses on his long-shot run for president in Taiwan's elections next year. For its part, the company he started keeps keeping its distance. According to the report, Foxconn said in a weekend release that Gou did not need to be replaced because there were other directors on the board, and he had officially handed over leadership 4 years ago. And finally today, maybe the agony of a full season was too much to take. Maybe you like to skip to the end of a story, or maybe you have a late case of messy mania. Whatever the reason, Apple has once again reduced the price of a subscription to Major League Soccer on Apple TV. When the season began, MLS on Apple TV ran viewers $14.99 per month or $99 for the whole season, with discounts available for Apple TV Plus subscribers. They could get on the action for $12.99 per month or $79 for the season. About halfway through the season, Apple cut the price about in half. Buying the remainder of the season ran subscribers $49 or $39 with an Apple TV Plus subscription, with monthly charges staying the same. Now, with less left to the season, a season pass costs less. A piece from TechCrunch says Apple's doing the discount thing again, dropping the price to $29 or $25 for Apple TV Plus subscribers. Again, monthly charges stay unchanged. It's not really correct on my part to call it a discount. I mean, it's only a discount for single payments. It'll save you $1 versus the monthly payments, but discount? The Major League Soccer 2023 season runs through late October. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.